Hey Flower Tribe, it's Kelly Lehman and Lucy Lehman, and today I want to show you this great plant that I bought. It's a rosemary bush, so it's really cool. I found it at one of my local garden centers here in November, and it was on sale, and I think I'm going to wind up having it. I'm going to try to grow it for the entire season. If we haven't met yet, it's nice to meet you. My name is Kelly Lehman. I'm the owner of Cranberry Fields Flower Farm here in Cranberry, New Jersey. And I love giving you guys fun, free flower tips. So please feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the bell notification so you know whenever we post another fun, free flower tip video. So let's dive right in. Rosemary is one of my favorite herbs to grow, and it's super beautiful, and it can last year-round in most southern climates. But here in my New Jersey planting hardiness zone 6B, I'm going to have to bring it inside when temps get pretty cold. But it's November now, and I bought this really huge rosemary plant, and I'm going to show you how I keep it going throughout the season. I made a few videos showing you how to plant herbs that you buy in your grocery store so you can have them all season long. And I'll link those videos below because I've been growing herbs now in my little planter for a few months now, and I basically bought them for a few bucks in my ShopRite, and I put them in these, like cute little planters by my garage, and I use them every night in my cooking, and I think I'm going to wind up having them all the way up until Thanksgiving. So I'll show you how to get those in your pots in the videos that I'll link below, but I wanted to show you how I'm taking care of this rosemary plant right now. I'm going to make sure that my rosemary pot that I have it planted in has great drainage because rosemary plants don't like to have their roots sitting in water too much. So I'm going to make sure that I do give this gal enough water, but that she's not sitting in any kind of like soggy areas because that will affect the plant. And I also read on the plant tag that if rosemary is planted in a more alkaline soil, it'll smell more fragrant. And I love that. I love the smell of rosemary. Oops, we got a passenger getting off. As I'm reading the tag for this plant, I love reading tags on plants. So it said the garden soil pH should be at least 6.0, and that's usually what I think most rosemary plants like to be planted in, between a 6 and a 7. But the more alkaline the soil, the more fragrant the rosemary will be. So that was really interesting to me. I had never heard that before. When I smelled my rosemary plant earlier, it didn't smell that strong, so I'm going to assume that the soil is not that alkaline. So what I'm going to do is add some garden lime to it, and some of you might recognize this garden lime because it's what some people use to change their endless summer hydrangeas from blue to pink. So I'm just going to sprinkle a tiny bit around it. I don't want to burn the plant. And I'm hopeful that my rosemary plant is going to be even more fragrant than when I first bought it. So that was kind of a cool little tip to read there. And I'm going to make sure that I keep pinching off the tops of my rosemary plant. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it's going to encourage the plant to get even bushier. So as you kind of pinch off the top parts of the rosemary plants, it's kind of like that new growth, you're going to tell the plant that it's not ready to flower yet and go to seed and kind of stop blooming. You're telling it that it needs to keep branching out and it needs to keep growing and thriving. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pinch it off every few days, and I'm going to wind up using those spices in my cooking, and I'm going to make my house smell great. And I even put some rosemary branches in my car, and it makes my car smell great. Some people in warmer climates will actually use rosemary as a hedge. So it can be grown as a hedge because it has like a woody stem base. If you take a look in here, you can see all this wood. So it makes for a great hedge if you have a warm enough climate. If you live in a climate like my New Jersey climate, which is a 6B, you're going to wind up having to take this plant inside when it gets really cold out. When the frost starts setting in, I'm going to bring this plant inside and make sure it gets a lot of sunshine from one of my windows, and I'll make sure I keep up with the watering, and then I'm hoping I could put it in my garden this year. I love adding rosemary to my tea, so it's super easy. You just take a few of these little sprigs, I kind of cut them up already, and if you have a tea diffuser, you can just kind of add a little tea bag in there, and you're going to add your little rosemary snippets in here, and then you just simply add your water. And then let it steep for a few minutes, and then it's going to just start to smell amazing in your kitchen, and you're going to have some beautiful rosemary tea. And if you're lucky enough to have some lavender handy, then go for it, because lavender and rosemary together are unbelievable. And listen guys, if you don't have a diffuser, it's not a big deal. You can just take the actual sprig of rosemary and just put it right in your teacup. I'm just going to give this guy a little snip. because the stem's a little bit long. So I'm just going to give it a snip. And after a few minutes, you're going to have that beautiful aroma start to come up, and it's going to taste beautiful, and you're going to love it. And rosemary is terrific because it's a super source of antioxidants. It's a super source of anti-inflammatory compounds. It's also great to help you with congestion. Some people say it helps them improve their focus, and other people say that it helps them improve their memory. So lots of health benefits in rosemary. But I just love that in my tea, especially at night, and especially with lavender. I love using rosemary in my cooking. It's really great to kind of take a few of these stems, give them a little trim, like right about here, and you can actually put them inside the cavity of roasted chicken. And sometimes I'll even put it underneath the skin of the chicken. I'll rub it with a little bit of olive oil. I'll add some garlic, and I'll put a little bit of sea salt on it. And I'll also add like half a lemon inside the cavity and some garlic. And then I'll put the chicken on top of some vegetables. And the smell is unbelievable as the chicken is cooking. Thank you so much for joining us in this video, and please let me know where you're viewing this from in this great big beautiful world. I love to see how our flower tribe is growing around the globe each week, and come say hi to us over on our Instagram channel. It's under Cranberry Fields, and also our Facebook page and Pinterest, which is also under Cranberry Fields. And I will see you in the next video. I made a few Oh my God, it wasn't like a robot. I made a few. That's the story with our rosemary plant. Oh, was that thunder? Oh my God, that scared me. Okay, that's good for now.